were talking about, right? And Gandalf is saying, the jaws are going to close on us, right? Like, this is it. We're going out with our 7,000 versus, we're going to die. Like, we don't have any chance here. And it's all up to faith, really, at this point, if Frodo and Sam can get to the top of Mount Doom and cast that ring into the fire, which is a big what if. Like, that's a big what if. They don't even know if they're there. They just know Faramir saw him a couple of days ago. Meanwhile, Faramir, he's clinging on for dear life right now. So it's not like, they can really consult him on, like, maybe what track they went to find out a little more information or anything, right? What would it take to convince you that this is the best route? Or do you think you would have spoke up in that meeting and said, we could cause a diversion, but maybe another way where we don't all get slaughtered? Or is there another way into Mordor? Also, I want to know, say if the ring is lost, like no one knows what happens to Frodo, no one knows what happens to Sam. Say they never hear from him again, but they don't necessarily know if Sauron has the ring yet or any of his men have found the ring. What happens at that point? Is it check and mate and the game is over? Or do you find a way to kind of rebuild your army over the next whatever years it is and try to make another stand? Like, what is the plan? Or is this the true end game, and is this the only option here?
Man, I think Doctor Strange went ahead and looked into the future and said, of all the 14 million and some odd outcomes, this is the one that we got to go with. Just simply because, number one, Sauron's not going to give them years to rebuild. You know what I mean? Like, oh, go ahead and take your time. I'll just come after you when I feel like it. Like, he's not going to give him the opportunity. They almost took him out with, like, the first great assault on the city of Gondor there. It took everything in them just to survive that. Now they've got 7,000 men. Well, 6,000 really, because the other 1,000 went to go try to take back the other area, Caer Andros, I think it was. So, you got 6,000, and it said there's 10 times the number and more than 10 times the number. So 10 times the number, 6,000, you're looking at 60,000 at least. Then on top of that, that's more than 10. You can somewhere between 80,000 to 100,000 was what I would assume the hosts of Mordor have. And so the reason why I do think this is really the only play is, like, what else are you going to do at this point in time? You can't retreat back anywhere. They're going to come chase you down. They've got, you're going to get exhausted. They've got so many people that they can have, some people go fast and some go slow, some rest and some overtake. Like, you're going to get overtaken. You're going to you're running away. You're going to get routed. Like, it's not even going to be a battle at that point. And, everything you've done up until this point has been done for nothing. So you can't really retreat. There's really no allies you can call on. The elves are all leaving. It doesn't seem like they want anything to do with this battle. They're like, hey, we're heading off of like Middle Earth. We're just going to go head over to the Undying Lands. It was great knowing you guys. Great hanging out for a bit. But have fun dying. We're just gonna get right on out of here. So don't even worry about it. You can have a couple of my sons. They'll die fighting. They think that's cool. So, but outside of that, we're all just gonna bounce out of here. So there's just really no other allies you can really call for. And even if there were, like, they're not going to be able to match the amount of numbers that Mordor has been accumulating over all these years. They're not going to get that in like a day or two. You know what I mean? So this is really the only play that they have, and it is a good play in terms of the whole idea of it is to fix Sauron's eye solely on the front force of its gate there, so he's got no idea what's going behind him. So Frodo and Sam basically have a clear path. If they, like you said, we don't know what their fate is right now, especially Gandalf, Aragorn, and Legolas, and Gimli, and Imrahil, and Éomer, and Eladon, and Elrohir. They have got no idea what the fate of Frodo and Sam are. But this is the best you got, because either, let's say, it's one of two options, right? Number one, they're going to be successful. They're going to get that ring to the fire, and they're going to die probably anyways because, they are just overwhelmed by the numbers. Or they failed, and the ring's gone into the hands of the enemy, or it's lost again, and they're going to die anyways. There's really, like this is it. You're going to your death, and at least with this, there is the slightest chance that we're giving the sneak attack. We always like to do sports analogies. This is like the ultimate trick play. This is Miracle at the Meadowlands. I'm talking throwing getting the kickoff and throwing it backwards and it going down the way. This is like the immaculate reception, bouncing off, and Franco Harris picking up inches off the ground and running in for a score. This is the ultimate trick play. This is Wildcat right now. We're running the Wildcat offense, and Frodo and Sam, they are the ones that, we're causing a diversion with the people you think are going to give Sauron the hardest time. Gandalf's super strong, like one of the most powerful people in Middle-earth. Aragorn, King Returned, and the Ranger from the North of Numenor bloodline. We got Éomer, the new king of Rohan. We got Imrahil, the prince of Dol Amroth. We got Elrond and Elrohir, Elrond's sons. Like this is where you think the problem is going to be. This is that's where you're preparing to fight the best. But little do you know, people you're not even thinking about are they've got their own little plan of action. So like this was the one shot that they had, is that we're gonna muster up as big a force as we can. We're gonna take it to them. We're going to try to hit him in the mouth and take all the attention away from everything else on Middle-earth for a little bit, as long as we can. And hopefully that's enough time for Frodo to get to the fire. But if he's dead, we're fucked. We're probably fucked anyways, to be honest. So yeah, dude. So I know that was a long-winded way of saying that this was really the only move. But yeah, man, this was really the only move.
What are your thoughts of most likely? Are you thinking most likely our timing is going to work out well, even though if you have been informed by Faramir that Frodo and Sam are on their way there, but now with Gollum, right? Because of what he informed them with the Trixium Falls. So what are your thoughts on, are you thinking there's an idea that definitely they're kind of going to be around the same place, so the timing's going to work out well on this? Or are you thinking this is just a shot in the dark, I hope this is where they're at? Or do you think maybe we beat them there because they're going these alternate paths and it's definitely a more difficult route to get there than us just going straight up to the gate? Or are you thinking kind of they're already there trying to toss it in, so they need a distraction right now?
I think it was a shot in the dark. I just don't know how you can, unless... I think I can think of a way in my head, but I don't think that they thought of this, or at least it was not brought up in the story. Because obviously, this is kind of funny because we haven't really spoken about these creatures much until the very, very end of this last chapter we mentioned. But it says, eagles are coming, eagles are coming. Gandalf, I feel like if he was smart, he could have drawn one of the eagles to him and had it fly over and try to get an aerial view of Mordor and see maybe they can get a peek of where Frodo and Sam might be if they threw it. If he told the eagle to go, hey, go scout this out, tell me what you see, or whatever it might be, and you might be having an idea. But it never said that happened and never showed that happened. So in my best educated guess, maybe he did do that and it just wasn't written down or something of that same line, or maybe Gandalf is just got that power of foresight and he can see a little bit into the future or get an idea of where they might be. But I truly think it was a shot in the dark, because so many things could happen. These, number one, they're hobbits. They can't walk as far and as long as normal men can, or maybe they can walk longer or farther, but not as fast or quickly. So you're pretty much trying to judge and guess the best you can how fast they would move, if they would get through the pass they would get through, if they were going to be hindered by anything. Are they going to run into orcs? Are they going to run into any trouble? Obviously with Shelob, they don't even know Shelob exists, right? So it would just be so impossible to be able to time it perfectly to where, okay, we need this distraction now because I know that they're about 46 steps away from Mount Doom. You know what I mean? I just really think 100% that it was a shot in the dark, and they're just we're just going to give it our all and just hope that we can hold out long enough for them to get there. And if they get there too late and we die, we die. And if they get there in time and they throw it down, we'll still probably die, but at least we'll know that we did our job. So that's what I think.
My take on this is I'm right there with you. I think it's absolutely one hell of a shot in the dark. So I think you're just kind of all in at that point, this is it. But it would definitely be my thoughts would probably be more on the side of okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell my family how much they meant to me. Like, this has been a great ride. Like, I'm not expecting to come out of this at all. Like, if I come out of this, that's a great bonus. Like, don't know how that happened. That I definitely drew the lottery ticket, but my mind would definitely be of like, this is probably not gonna work.